Welcome to Up and Away, the restaurant marketing podcast, saving the world from bad marketing, brought to you by Qubriux, the all-in-one platform for loyalty and customer engagement. And today we are tackling something that every restaurant does, but probably wishes they could do better: limited time offers. LTOs are by far one of my favorite ways to drive attention. They're a great way to drive engagement, and they're a way to have fun with your menu. We do them at Salad House. We do them at Handcraft Burgers and Brew. In fact, I'm in New York City today because I have to go shoot our new burger of the month. I'm all about the LTO. I don't know about you guys listening to the show or my co-hosts and guests here, but there's like a tingle in my soul every time McDonald's announces the return of the McRib. My name is Reb Ciancio. I'm a hospitality marketing consultant, tech evangelist, content creator, co-founder, and CMO of Handcraft Burgers and Brew in New York City and Salad House in New Jersey. And with me is my co-host, Arun, who is the founder and CEO of Qubriux. Arun's a tech veteran with over 2 decades of experience. For Qubriux, he was the principal data scientist and architect for developing Starbucks' personalized customer engagement platform. And for sure, he has seen a lot of pumpkin spice lattes in his life. In fact, I decided yesterday that the skeleton that lives in my office at home, who's not on the show today, he's going to wear a pumpkin spiced shirt for all of September, almost as a joke. Anyway, I want to welcome. She is a marketing strategist, a business builder. She leads Sweet Treats Bakery, runs the Good Kind marketing agency, and has worked with everyone from independent restaurants to Shaquille O'Neal himself at Big Chicken. Please welcome the incredible Anna Tal.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for having me this morning. And yeah, I'm super excited. I think, was it Taylor Swift got engaged and the pumpkin spice latte came back on the same day? It was a big day for white women. Like, it was fantastic.
I marked myself safe on social media from using a Travis and Kelsey engagement meme. So
It's really difficult. I'm very proud of you because that was really challenging. Yeah. It's just so tempting, right?
memes are the bad LTOs of social marketing or social currency. Anna, we are stoked to have you on the show. We've all seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've truly seen the ugly when it comes to LTOs. What would you say is a common misconception operators have about limited time offers?
Oh gosh. I think that what they're craving is maybe what their customers are craving. That's a big one that I see, that they're just like, "Oh, let's do this." And I'm like, "Just because you're really into pickles right now doesn't mean that that's actually riding a wave of trends." And we need to be aware of that, right? Because that's a little bit harder to market to people unless it's like part of the zeitgeist at the moment. So I would say that like choosing a flavor that's not ready for prime time, or that they can't execute. I'm just going to keep adding to this because like they probably can't afford. Like that's a big one too. I know we're going to talk about, how to structure it so you can afford an LTO and like how to price it. But that's a big one as well, is that they don't realize how much that might cost if they're bringing in all these different SKUs in order to create the most magnificent pickle fried hot dog LTO or something like that. And all of a sudden their food cost is at 60% for an item that is only going to last for 2 months. It's just not worth it. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there about LTOs. I too love an LTO. As a marketer, it gives me something new to talk about, which I always love. But they're super fun. And yeah, I love that there's like a brand seasonality with them too. You mentioned the McRib, the PSL, but there's a bunch of local ones too. There's some local favorites as well.
My favorite, we're actually quite the opposite at Handcraft Burgers and Brew. We're always like, how can we simplify this? And then we end up putting things on the burger that I personally would never eat. So,
Really?
and so when we have to go film the video, I'm like cheating by throwing it across the street, or like I'm hiding that I didn't put a tomato on my, and like,
Tomatoes do not belong in hamburgers. Hot take for you. I just don't think a tomato on a hamburger is a good idea. Mm-mm.
I don't know that tomatoes belong in anything other than sauce. That is a different podcast. Okay, before we get too deep into like the tactics and everything, I want both of you to answer this question. What is your favorite LTO of all time? And it can't be one you worked on. It has to be
Oh.
somebody else's.
Oh man. Uh okay. Okay. It wasn't a food item though, but it was kind of really okay. I'm gonna go back to McDonald's. I think I have the little guy somewhere. But do you remember whenever McDonald's was doing the adult Happy Meal and they did this crossover toy, and they worked with like some artist, I can't remember what it was, but they created these really weird looking old school McDonald's toys. And I have like Grimace that has like 3 eyeballs or something like that. And it was people wanted these toys, and I think it played into like millennial nostalgia probably, and so everyone had to order it, but you had to order it through the app, which was very clever, so it made everyone download the McDonald's app. So I think that, like, that kind of fever pitch, like, pulling in old like, McDonald's menu items, right, which already have, like, a bit of nostalgia for us millennials, all the toys, which were really, really cool, and you wanted to collect them, and then also as a download, driver for the app, that was incredible.
Yeah, I think it has to be typically the double star days or double star weeks at Starbucks.
Interesting,
So
interesting.
yeah, earlier like when I'm a regular at Starbucks and typically I redeem my points and this double star or sometimes triple stars were always very interesting to earn more points and then redeem. So, me, I used to drink almost every day from Starbucks. So typically, the points enabled me to collect like at least one or two free drink once in 2 weeks or so. So that is a good incentive.
I don't think I ever
Amen.
realized when it's double star day. I probably should. I should probably pay attention.
My favorite LTO all time, despite the permanent scars and burns I have on my right arm from cooking them when I was 16, is the McRib.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Was it okay,
When
I have so many questions. We should talk about that offline, though, 'cause I'm
I,
like
I mean, quite like in two sentences or less. I worked at McDonald's when the McRib came out for the very first time, and the way we cooked them is that they came like frozen, and we put them on the flat top, and they
yeah,
had this like steel press because you had to press them. So literally, it was
yeah.
like hot metal cooking
Oh
hot
god.
food. So like we were burning our hands, and then the oil was splashing up everywhere. So I was getting it all down my arm. So
Oh,
I lived for
no.
hours just burning myself making McRib. So I
Oh
don't know if
my
I
god.
actually like it or it was just, like, burned in my submission, so
That's yeah, yeah. I could see that. Oh my gosh. That's awful. But I tell you, like, one of the ones that I worked on that I really loved? So at Big Chicken is known for big food, of course, and one of the things that they have on the menu is milkshakes, and their milkshakes are like an unsung hero. I don't know if you've had one, but they're incredible. They're like gilded lily style milkshakes. They are so good. And we worked with Kellogg's actually to come up with the Frosted Flakes milkshake. And it was so much fun. Not only was it like the flavor was really good, it had kind of a cereal milk flavor to it. And then we had like crunchy frosted flakes on top. But also working with the Kellogg's team was really amazing because we got to talk about, how are we bringing Tony the Tiger in? What is that going to look like? How are we going to roll this out? Like the marketing plan around it was super, super fun. And it was really well received.
amen. You know how I know you did not see my video that went viral about milkshakes at Big Chicken?
Yeah. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Could you just ask me if I ever had a milkshake?
Oh, well, I know you've had one, but I meant Aaron. Oh.
Amen. I went to the one in Rosemont and demand is probably a strong word. Really, really, like, kind of begged them to make me the Nashville hot chicken milkshake that was
Yeah.
done
Yeah. It
as
was an
a
April
April Fool's
Fool's
joke,
campaign we did.
and
Yeah.
they did it, and it was actually phenomenal. So,
That's what chef said too. I refused to try it, but, like, yeah, we did roll out the Nashville hot chicken vanilla milkshake for April Fools, and we had so many people wanting to try it, which was like, "What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people, Rev?"
I have no idea. All right, so, what's the best reason to do an LTO? Like, when somebody's really thinking about this, like, why are they doing LTOs?
Honestly, I'll be completely honest. I think that when you need something to talk about on marketing, you need a way to drive eyeballs. I think that's probably the biggest reason people pull out an LTO and do it. I mean, it's the reason why the big brands do it, independents do it. And I think that's a fine reason. I mean, it gives chefs and operations like something to play with. So they have like something new to do as well. And then just bringing something new to your existing audience is always a really great idea because they might get a little tired, frankly, of your menu. Not that you don't have some great menu favorites and you're in the rotation, but what's a way to like move to the top of the list real quick, roll something new out that you know they're going to love.
When is a good time to do an LTO?
Oh, I
Or
mean,
maybe how do you know it's time to do an LTO? Or maybe even how do you know it's not time to do an LTO?
I think you can do them seasonally, honestly. I think that an LTO in January, February, around the slump period for most restaurants, it's a really good time to roll something out. Um, I have played around several times now with rolling out something healthy in January, never doing that again. Never doing that again. It's just like other people do it, the gyms do it, spas do something healthy in January, to talk about it, and dry January being a thing. Dry January might be a fun one to stick with, but trying to roll out a bunch of salads in January, it's just don't. It's just so lame.
How do we how do we know what is the right LTO? How do we pick the right product or right messaging for the LTO?
Yeah, great question. I'd love to hear Rev's take on this too. I think that, I use different tools like Data Essential and Google Trends, and I pay really close attention to TikTok and Instagram to see what's coming, as a way to sort of trend spot different things coming up in the zeitgeist. I also think that the micro seasonality that exists, I mean, Aaron, you know this really well, right? With the PSL, like guests expect flavors to drop right before the season hits, not in the middle of it, right? So that's why the PSL comes out in late August, not in mid-October. So I think that those are good things to look for in terms of when to drop an LTO. Um, but as far as how to roll it out, doing it small scale first and then committing is probably the best way to do it, especially as the independent restaurants. That's who I work with.
Got it. So do you typically like have a lot of strategy behind it? Like, hey, this is the segment I'm going to, this is the objective I'm going to do an upsell versus do you put a lot of thought behind it from a tactical point of view?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So because I have a tech background as well, I think a lot about LTOs in terms of product marketing language, right? So really defining who the audience is. An LTO is not typically for everybody, so you want to know like who am I actually driving this for? What is the messaging around it? What do I want them to feel, think when they eat it, when they walk away from it? I really think deeply about what that looks like and then create the marketing that goes around it, whether that's, how are we going to roll it out? Are we doing a video for it? Are we going to create our own hype for it? Or are we going to do it just kind of casually? I worked with a Tex-Mex concept recently, and every month we rolled out a new taco flavor. Tacos were already on the menu, so it was fairly easy to add a couple SKUs once a month to bring on a new taco flavor. They were so popular actually that we decided to extend to 2 months, so a period 2 periods, which actually worked way better, frankly, because it gave people a little bit more time to come in and try that limited, offering for a taco, and they were great. They did really, really well, performed really well.
Okay.
I have a lot of feelings about tacos. They're all positive.
I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear that. I don't wanna fight with you today, Rev.
And just for our audience to relate to, just going a little deeper into what we just discussed, the tactics behind the LTOs. So if what do you start with? Like, what is your thought process typically? What does it start with? Like, do you think about, hey, what should I do? What's my objective? Is it and just can you just walk us through your mental framework of constructing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I think that I mean the first is what are we trying to do, right? Are we looking for an average check lift? Are we looking for new traffic? That's usually what I start with is what is the sales metric that's going to be helping me measure success? Sort of start there and then work backwards. Um, Most times it's new traffic, right? You want to bring in new traffic or bring in higher traffic numbers, and so you have to start with like figuring out okay what are we looking at? What do we actually want to see? And then it goes with margin tracking. So as you're developing different menu items, we can dig more into that if we want. Are we actually hitting our food costs and labor targets? I think that's really important. I know that that doesn't seem very marketing-y, but marketing works very closely, obviously, with operations and finance as they should, and need to keep that in mind as well. You can't come up with the most expensive item and throw it out there and call it a success if it costs you way more in food and labor to create the item, right? So that's a big one. Um, so that's on like how are we going to measure it? And then in terms of creation, right? You want to figure out like what are those trends, right? What seasons are coming up? What are some flavors that are popping on TikTok? What are we starting to see on Google Trends? So that you can see when searches start to spike and really be right on the edge of that curve versus getting behind. At this point, I would never roll out anything Dubai chocolate related because that is saturated and done. That time is done. Um, I like to test small, right? So roll it out, make sure the item looks good, have people test it within the restaurant. Maybe have some of your favorites local regulars, try it out, see what they think, make some tweaks or whatever. Then you do training. So it's time to work with training. I often forgot them I apologize, all of my training people in the past, but I would be like, "What do you mean you don't know how to do this?" So working with training, giving them at least 1 to 2 weeks to really figure out how does this look, what's the playbook behind it? How do we assemble it? Roll it out, is really big. In independent restaurants, it's a lot shorter timeline, right? Obviously, if you're working with bigger brands or franchisees of larger brands, they need more time for that. The tech side is really important, right? You need to make sure that it's in the POS, making sure that people could ring it up clearly, make sure that you can order it online as well if you're doing that and working with your partners. And then building sort of a pre-hype marketing cycle, right? Some teaser posts, some countdowns, something like that to sort of tease your audience that something big is coming. And then not being afraid to adjust, right? I know that whenever we rolled out one of the shakes at Big Chicken, gosh, which one was it? Oh, I think it was peach cobbler that people said within the first couple days that it wasn't peachy enough, that they needed a little bit more peach flavor. And so we tweaked the recipe, right? And then rolled it back out, rolled it out with training again, re-rolled out the marketing, didn't say anything about it being more peachy, just pushed it a little bit more. So that's kind of off the top of my head. That's kind of like the timeline of how I roll it out. Rev, did I miss anything?
No, not at all. I actually have questions. So,
Okay.
thinking about like a multi-unit brand, like a Big Chicken or someone
Sure.
bigger like that, what do you
Yeah.
suggest is the timeline at which they have an LTO planned out? Like, do
Oh,
they need to be prepped 30 days out, 60 days out, 3 days out, 2 years out? What does that look like?
I so come October, you should know what 2026 looks like. That's usually like my guideline. Maybe you don't have all the details figured out for December of 2026, but I like to be way ahead of the game so that you can work on that. Even if that's only, okay, during June, we're going to do this LTO item. We've decided on what the item is going to be, what the ingredients are going to be, and then you can work backwards from there, right? So it's not like you have to have all of your marketing materials ready 8 months ahead of time. That would be amazing. But things are going to change, right? You don't want it to get stale. So I think that planning wise, by October, you should know what 2026 looks like.
Okay.
Interesting. If you're planned out, 15 to 12 months in advance, how can you be on trend with what's trending in terms of
You have to
menu?
be nimble, right? You have to be
Amen.
nimble. I think that it means, okay, we know we're gonna do a seasonal taco. We may not know what that taco is going to be. We may not know what that milkshake is going to be, but we know we're gonna roll out a seasonal one. It's fairly easy to figure out summertime and wintertime, right? Because typical flavors are more popular than others. You roll out fruit in the summer, you roll out warming spices in the winter. But that leaves a lot of time around spring, and back to school for there to be something else popping. And usually when the kids gather, something happens, right? So back to school time is a really good time to be aware of like what's happening on TikTok and Google Trends so that you can capture that audience.
Let me ask you this question. Does
Yeah.
it really matter?
Does it, does any of it really matter, Rev? How deep are we
No,
going?
I'm saying like, if you wake up tomorrow and you're the executive of a 200 unit store and you're like, deep fried Nashville hot pumpkin tacos, I don't care. Let's go. Like, does it matter? Like, does it matter if that's on trend? Does it matter if that's what your customer wants? Does it matter if that's on brand for you? Like, can you just do it because you want to do it, or is that a mistake?
Oh, I think there have been many brands that have waded into those waters and made mistakes. I think it absolutely has to be on brand. Does it matter if it's on trend? I guess not, because you can kind of shape trends yourself, especially if you're big enough, right? But it should be on brand. I think doing something that's a departure from the brand would be not ideal, right? Like McDonald's rolling out a chicken fried steak. Probably not a good idea. Although I'd eat
Try
it.
it. I would try it.
I don't know if I would trust McDonald's cream gravy, no offense.
I mean, I heard. I'm just saying. If McDonald's announced tomorrow that they did a Nashville hot deep fried pumpkin taco, I'd be
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. But to your point, like, there's, one of the brands, actually a Miami-based brand, and, The Salty. I think they're based in Miami, right? Or they started in Florida anyway. The Salty, great donuts, by the way, love them so much. They roll out LTO flavors from time to time, and they're not trying to be trendsetters, right? They're trying to do what tastes good, what they can execute well, and what flavor profile makes sense for their brand. I don't think I've ever seen anything too crazy out of them. But they're delicious and the marketing is fantastic. Really good example to look at.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm hungry now.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Is there any typical segments of customers? Let's say, like a new customer or lapsed customer. Are there any some canonical segments, or is you create
Yeah.
new and interesting segments?
Yeah.
To you?
Really good question. I think, for a lot of the restaurants that I've worked with, it's always been talk to the kids and the teenagers and influence the adults as much as you can. Um, that's usually what we try to do. Now, with one of the other brands that I'm working with right now, our target audience is millennials with families. And so we think a lot about what's going on with millennial culture, like what are they looking for? How do we appeal to them? And a lot of that is comfort and nostalgia because as a millennial myself, we've been through a lot of crises recently. The state of the world is a little crazy at the moment, so you want to kind of bring people comfort. So I would say that when I think about customers, it's usually that prime buying segment, right? So 35 to 45-year-olds with children is a really good one to go for because that's like you can appeal to multiple different things within there. You can appeal to their nostalgia. You can appeal to their identity need for youth culture. You can actually appeal to youth culture, all of that. I don't think I'd ever roll out an LTO for the 55 plus community.
Got it. Okay. And is there a single?
Mashed potatoes.
You wouldn't do mashed potatoes and lukewarm coffee as an LTO?
You know how low the food cost would have to be on that for them to come in? Like, it's just
And
sorry, Aaron, I cut you off, I think. What were
um,
you saying?
just wondering, is there a single KPI which you typically go after to measure the success, or is it depending on the campaign?
Yeah, so no, it's a great question. I think sales is a big one, right? I mean, marketing can always look at sales data and see like, did we sell this LTO? Did it increase check size? Did people like, especially if you're rolling out something that's sort of considered an add-on, like an appetizer or a dessert? Did people order it and did it help our check size go up? But I think traffic numbers is the biggest one. That's what I always look at is how's traffic? How many people came in today? Did more come in today than yesterday because we have this LTO going?
Got it.
Can
Okay.
I share a story?
Please.
Okay, I'm a storyteller. So I used to work with this multi-unit, full-service burger bistro brand, and we would do LTOs every other month, right? They would have a special burger every other month. That's what we thought worked. And one day we got feedback from the culinary team that they didn't want to do them anymore. It was too much work. They didn't care. It wasn't showing in sales, yada, 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 yada. And you don't ever tell me I'm wrong without having real justification because I don't take well to that. So we actually went and did a massive deep dive on a year's worth of LTO burgers. And we discovered a couple of things that I thought were true, but got heavily validated. Okay. Number one, if you're measuring the success of an LTO in terms of sales, you're missing so much of the boat because we found that the LTOs drove stupid amounts of engagement on social media. And that we would post about a LTO, and then the next two or three posts after that would do pretty well because our audience, our guests were engaged in that content.
Right.
So if we took away the value that that brought to our retention marketing, we made a mistake. We also noticed that when we sent emails about LTOs, they had higher open and click rates,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So whether somebody ordered the LTO because they interacted with the Instagram post or they opened the email didn't matter. We stayed top of mind with that guest for that day, right?
Yep.
So that alone to me as a marketer, of course, like that justifies everything it needs to justify. But we went deeper. We went back and we said, okay, show me what frequency and LTV looks like for people who ordered these dishes. Okay. Now they put out a dish. It was an ice cream sundae with French fries. Okay. System wide, it sold 75. That is a failure at the cash register. Okay. That is a
Sure.
failure. However, on average, every single person that ordered one, it was their fifth visit that year, and it was July. We got 75 people to do 5 visits at a full service, like, burger bistro because they wanted to dip waffle fries in ice cream. And we went back to the culinarian team and said, "This much revenue, this much engagement, this much open rate, this much click rate, and this much LTV." Guess what? They now do an LTV every other
I love that. I'm so glad I didn't even bring up the marketing metrics. I don't know why I wasn't thinking that, but like, yes, absolutely, Rob. I mean, in terms of like getting people's eyeballs on it, I mean, that's one of the things I mentioned at the top is like why you do an LTO is to get them engaged, to give them something else to look at, to think about. So it's not just your regular menu. I love that. And the halo effect is real, right? Like after you put something out there, people are paying attention and it's really great because you get a lot more engagement, which is fantastic. That's not to say that you need to do an LTO all the time because then it can get a little bit noisy. How often did you do an LTO with that burger concept?
Well, I don't work with them anymore, but from that point forward for about another year was literally every other month.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good cadence, I think. Mhm.
Do you consider seasonal menus to be LTOs?
I do because it makes it easier for me to organize. But
Okay, then heard,
yeah.
heard.
Yeah, just to be honest, like yeah, I do because I treated this I mean, they get the same kind of treatment, but I'm trying to think back. I mean, seasonal menu yeah, they do come back year after year, but they do end up needing the same kind of treatment, right? Because the food might be a little bit tweaked, the training might be a little bit different, that kind of thing. So I keep them on the LTO list so they get that same treatment.
Okay, we're kind of coming to the end of the show here, so I got a couple of quick hot ones, and then obviously, if Arun has one, I want him to jump in here as well. LTOs, acquisition or retention tool.
Oh, retention.
Thank you. Would you put advertising dollars behind an LTO?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, amen. I'm just curious. Um, if what is the frequency that an LTO should show up on your social media?
I really love every 2 months as an LTO. It really works because you kinda get enough time to, like, announce it, everyone get used to it, and then it kinda goes away, and then last minute, like, last call for all of that, and then it comes back.
So, okay, I want to make sure I ask the right question. So, my restaurant has released an LTO. You're saying that I should only post about it on social twice in 2 months?
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question, apologies.
I know I asked a bad question. That's why I'm.
No, why not saturate it? Like, I think that's great. I think you have to it depends on your grid, right? Like what your grid strategy is for like how often you want to post it, but posting about it every day is fine. On social, like maybe just use stories every day, post about it every few days. Yeah.
Damn it. Arun, before we wrap here, any quick hit
Yeah,
questions from you?
I was thinking, Anna, how much of an LTO is too much? Like, is there something called too many LTOs happening? What will draw the line?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really depends on the concept, right? A taco restaurant, a Tex-Mex concept, go for it. Every 2 months, why not? A steak restaurant, it's a little tougher. Maybe stick with seasonality, so maybe for a year. It really does depend on the concept. I often would get asked by my former director of operations, wouldn't they come into the restaurant and order something anyway? Are we just like cannibalizing ourselves? And Tim, if you're listening, like, it's because of the marketing. It's because we needed engagement. We needed an attention grabber.
All right, you made me just think of another question. Okay, so if I'm a full service restaurant like a steakhouse or an Italian chop house or something, and we have like daily specials, right?
Oh,
Are those LTOs?
uh, no? Question mark? I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think so.
I've never thought about that till this minute. So we're
Me
both
either.
perplexed. We both had to
Now I'm
do the
gonna
cat that we both had to do the hungry dog noise, huh?
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm gonna call a Papa's group after this and find out how they do it.
Oh my god, I love Papa's Brothers Steakhouse. Arun, have you ever been to Papa's Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so
Killer,
good. Okay.
killer. The wine list, so good.
Last questions before we wrap. And I'm putting you in the hot seat here. Okay.
Okay.
If you were designing an LTO for Arun's birthday, because today is Arun's birthday, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy
Thank
What would
birthday!
you what would you
Oh my god.
design?
I would design okay. Knowing that Arun lives in Miami, but spends a lot of time in India, I would probably do an LTO drink and call it, like, the Miami Vice or something like that, and offer a pair of free sunglasses with everyone who orders it. So that like,
Yes. I love that.
"Happy birthday."
Thank you.
You're not doing a pumpkin spice cardamom watermelon refresher
Nope,
with
definitely not.
with 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 birthday cake sprinkles.
Sounds
This is
amazing,
why
but
This is why I'm not in charge of LTOs.
Maybe you should be. I think for certain brands, you'd be perfect for it, Red.
So at Handcraft Burgers and Brew, I don't come up with our LTOs, but I have veto power. However, I do claim naming rights. So even if the
Oh,
team comes up
great.
with it, I get to decide the name. So
That's cool.
that's what I bring to the table. Anna, thanks so much. I knew this was going to be a great conversation. In fact, I've been actually asked by a couple of my clients this week alone about LTO marketing. And every time I think I know everything, I talk to somebody like you and realize I know nothing. So thank you for bringing so much to the show. So we appreciate that.
Happy to do it. Always love to learn from a legend, Rev. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're talking to Arun. That's not me. Anyway, listen, you officially
Both, yes.
saved us from a world of bland and ineffective promotions. Thank you for sharing these incredible insights and real world experience. And thank you for being a part of our show today. So listeners, if you enjoyed the conversation, can you please share this episode with a friend who might also find it helpful? And remember to please give us a rating right now. That helps us to spread the word to others who might find it valuable, just like you do. Make sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss an episode from us. And be sure to find Arun somewhere on social media and tell him belated happy birthday by the time he breakfast. Cheers.